How we doing, guys? It's Mr. Striz and I'm checking in. Today's LEQ is identify the phases of mitosis. So we're going to be talking about mitosis and the different phases that make up mitosis. But really, we see mitosis when we talk about our nerve cells or even blood cells. So those are two types of examples in our body where mitosis occurs. But getting to what mitosis is. So mitosis is the division of a parent cell's nucleus into two exact daughter cells. So what happens here is you see here we have one cell, and it goes through these different phases, which we'll get down, and eventually it ends where this one cell creates two new cells. And it's because of that division, the nucleus, where the chromosomes are kept the same. And I have a little animation here to show you that kind of goes through mitosis so you can see it as it goes from prophase and ends with cytokinesis.
Nuclear membrane disintegrates and the nucleolus disappears. As prophase continues, the chromosomes condense and begin to appear. Mitotic spindles, which are made of microtubules, begin to form between the poles, and kinetochores begin to mature and attach to the spindles. During metaphase, the chromosomes become attached to the mitotic spindles at the kinetochores and align along the metaphase plate at the equator of the cell. During anaphase, the kinetochore microtubules shorten, separating the chromosomes to opposite poles, while the polar microtubules and the cell elongate. During telophase, chromosomes reach the poles of the cell and begin to disappear. The polar microtubules continue to elongate. The nuclear membranes form, the nucleoli appear, and the chromosomes decondense. Telophase is followed by cytokinesis, during which a cleavage furrow forms in the center of the cell, and the cell divides.
So that right there was an animation, and it's cool how our cells are able to divide, through mitosis, like for our blood cells or for our tissue cells. And it's exactly how that animation showed, where and we'll talk about each phase individually, but how that cell eventually just separates its nucleus into two exact daughter cells with the same amount of chromosomes there. Now moving on, how many cells are produced by mitosis? So looking at this picture here, you see that at the end result of mitosis, you get two diploid cells. Basically just saying that contains two sets of chromosomes. You got two sets of chromosomes in this one and two sets of chromosomes in that one. That's what it means by diploid, with, diploid, the prefix being two. So you get two diploid cells created at mitosis. Remember, those cells are exactly the same as that parent cell there. And then moving on to whether it's sexual or asexual reproduction. So since mitosis, there's only one parent cell, it is a form of asexual reproduction. Because in asexual reproduction, you only need one parent cell, or in sexual reproduction, you need two. So it's asexual reproduction. That's a big difference between mitosis and when we get through, start talking about meiosis there, is that there's only one parent cell, so it's a type of asexual reproduction. And then let's move over to these phases here. So the phases for mitosis are interphase, and we talked about interphase yesterday or 2 days ago, depending on when you're watching this video. Remember, that's where it's the G1, S, and G2 phase. And then from interphase, we go to prophase, to metaphase, anaphase, telophase, and finally cytokinesis. You saw there where that cell actually splits in two. So a way to remember these phases is just IPMAT-C. So interphase, prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase, and cytokinesis. Those are the phases there for mitosis that you guys need to know. And then we're moving on to the left-hand page of your notebook here on page 66. Make sure you write down what happens in each phase, and you're also drawing what's happening within the cell at each phase, because there's going to be questions that pop up. What phase does this picture show? So you need to know what's happening within that cell there. Alright, so the first one we're talking about is interphase. Once again, remember that's G1, S, G2. Interphase is the cell cycle where the cell copies DNA for mitosis. So it's getting that DNA ready for mitosis, so eventually those chromosomes are going to be separated into two cells with the exact number of chromosomes as the parent cell there. So make sure you get down what interphase is and that picture as well. There's no need to do it in color, just kind of go through it with your pencil there or pen. Alright, after that, prophase. Prophase occurs when the chromosomes condense and the nuclear envelope is not apparent. So that nuclear envelope is no longer, you can see it, and the chromosomes condense in that middle of the cell, as you can see there. So that's prophase. Remember, we got interphase, prophase, remember IP met. So the next one we're going to be talking about is metaphase. All right, metaphase occurs when the chromosomes line up along the center of the cell. So that's an easy way to remember metaphase. Just think of metaphase for middle, and these chromosomes there are aligned along the center of the cell. The next one we're going to be looking at is anaphase. So anaphase occurs when chromosomes have separated and are moving towards the opposite poles. So they were lined up along the middle there with metaphase, but now with anaphase, they're kind of being pulled apart from each other, and they're moving towards these opposite poles, as you see here in that picture right there. All right, so now we're moving towards the end here in telophase. Telophase occurs when the chromosomes are at the poles and the nuclear envelope reforms. So you see here how the nuclear envelope is reforming, and you actually see how the cell is almost actually divided into two there. And that makes us to that last phase where we talk about cytokinesis. Remember that IPMAT-C, that last one is cytokinesis. So finally, cytokinesis is the division of the cytoplasm. So you see there where it actually forms the two cells now. They're actually cut, where you have the two cells are not, conjoined together like they are in telophase. So those are the phases of mitosis. Make sure you got down what happens at each phase in the picture as well. Remember, mitosis is just the division of the cell's nucleus where it forms two identical diploid cells. And make sure we know those phases as well, because we'll be moving in through meiosis as we finish this up. This is Mr. Striz signing out.